So of course, here we are when it comes down to episode 13 of Bleach. Of course, we end up going ahead and getting Ichigo put directly back into the hole again. Basically, where all the Zanpakutos are, and where he failed the test before, he has to go and try it again. But this time, he's like, "You should be able to do it now." And then all the Zanpakutos are just surrounding him, and Ichigo is just not afraid. They don't even attempt to attack him. In fact, they all just bow or kneel before him. They don't even attempt to attack him in any type of way. They hold no animosity or harbor any anger towards him in any type of way. As soon as he walks directly to the very back, however, he ends up finding a specific one and says, "I choose you," or "You're the one." He reaches out his hand, he reaches back, and they both grab hands, which is an amazing callback to the opening. That is actually pretty dope. I thought it was just used for a stylistic choice, but no, it's actually part of the actual damn series. I like that because it was basically a symbolism thing, which looked just like a opening stylistic choice. Of course, I ended up going ahead and looking at closer when it came down to the Zanpakuto bean or whatever like that. And yeah, it looks exactly like Hallowed Ichigo, or I guess we'll call him White for now as we go along. Then as we end up getting like different parts of everybody, we end up seeing like everybody basically learning their own different type of ways of, oh, I need to go ahead and level up and get stronger. The series basically just wants to go ahead and show you that everybody's trying their hardest. They realize that they failed. They realize that they lost. They took that L, and now they're trying their very best to go ahead and level up and become stronger in the best ways that they possibly can. From every single captain, even the research captain himself, has gone ahead and started doing some research into how to go ahead and better either A, change his Zanpakuto up or create something brand new. Of course, Odu with the 69 tattooed on his face, which that's a weird ass tattoo. He ends up being told that they want him to go ahead and learn Bankai. At the end of the day, the captain didn't lose his Bankai or anything like that. However, he does have to go ahead and at least have him learn Bankai in order to go ahead and make sure that he could later on end up protecting either him, or in case he ends up getting his Bankai stolen or anything like that, which makes 100% sense. Reason being is because I personally feel like all the lieutenants should go ahead and know Bankai, even if they're not captains. So that way, just in case the captain themselves end up falling or have trouble or anything like that, the lieutenants can go ahead and help directly from where that they end up lacking on stuff. Of course, he starts bad-mouthing Tozen a little bit, which not a lot of people, well, he didn't particularly like that very well. And then, of course, we end up seeing Killer Bee go ahead and doing her little exercises. She looks like she's doing push-ups. I'm guessing Yoruichi is going to eventually come in and help her end up teaching her to level up or giving her some type of glow up. Then, of course, Shinji ends up going ahead and talking to one of his elders of his race. Apparently, they're all dog niggas. Each and every single one of them are just like, forms of dogs or whatever like that. And he asks the elder, "Hey, I need you to go and teach me some of our secret techniques." And he's like, "That's ridiculous. Like, you pretended to be a human most of the time that you were even a soul reaper, just hiding the fact of who you were." Which I even said that in my reaction, that I thought he was like just a big black guy. I was scared when it came down to him being in the series. I didn't even think that he was any type of dog. I was just confused when it turns out that he was just an animal person. But of course, the elder goes ahead and tells him that he's not going to go ahead and teach him over and over and over. We know that he's going to teach him eventually. So eventually we end up getting pushed over to a part where they go directly into the forge. It's this big, gigantic waterfall where the sea ends up flowing directly into the a crevice underneath the mountain. So that way they can go ahead and build Ichigo's brand new sword. But of course, the Forge Master tells him that you're going to go ahead and have to say goodbye to Zangetsu, because you can't keep your old Zangetsu. You have to reforge him. And so, lo and behold, of course, we end up getting introduced to tons of different waifus. I'm not going to remember any of their names in any type of way. All I did was, I did see one with some pretty nice boobs. I would say that. If you want to go ahead and check out their names, I will definitely end up going ahead and just putting them here, so that way you could take a look at each individual one. But it looks like all of them have different attributes. One has shovel hands, so she could forge a little freaking section of the forge. The other one has fire, which of course we seen her originally in the first section. One of them ends up actually building like a little area so that way they can go ahead and pour water into it, and her tears end up forming the water for the forge. And I'm guessing each and every single one of these women just so happen to be Zanpakutos that allow him to be able to forge the beings that they need to forge, or forge the swords that he needs to forge. There's basically like bodyguards, but they're kind of like Zanpakutos. One even is able to go ahead and take the metal, stretch it out. The other one takes out a tooth out of her mouth, ends up forming a hammer, and they end up helping him create the brand new Zangetsu. The Forge Master, of course, ends up telling Ichigo that white as the hollowification, or the hollow that originally encountered Ichigo's mother, actually is Ichigo's sword. He himself became Zangetsu. And Ichigo's like, what are you talking about? He's like, yes, that portion right there of your being is Zangetsu. The other half that you refer to as Old Man Zangetsu is literally just Yhwach. It's Yhwach's blood that courses through your veins. Like, it's the Quincy power form, is the symbolism or formation of the Quincy powers that you possess inside your body that forms the Old Man Zangetsu persona inside of you. So he ends up forging the sword, and then of course we end up getting the amazing flashback and realization that helps Ichigo realize that he kind of already knew this. Even Ichigo in the end ends up saying that he felt like he was drawn there, like to Yhwach's location whenever they basically when they had their encounter and fought. Like he felt like it just felt natural to be there whenever he saw him. He's somewhat went ahead and put two and two together because he reminded him of fighting Old Man Zangetsu already. And the inner portion of Yhwach ends up telling him that, hey, I am not Zangetsu, I am not Yhwach, I am neither. I am basically a manifestation of your Quincy powers. And he never wanted Ichigo to become a Soul Reaper. He never wanted Ichigo to have those type of powers, anything like that. Even when it came down to him protecting Ichigo, showing him all these different forms and everything like that, teaching him and guiding him and everything like that, he still was holding back Ichigo's full power away from him. And he would just allow it to be released in certain spots here and there to regulate his abilities, his powers, because he didn't want him to be put in a position where he would be in danger or anything like that. So in a sense, he, in some type of semblance, still wanted to protect Ichigo regardless. The exact same thing that that White Ichigo or White Zangetsu told him. I want to protect you regardless of the situation. And that's basically what it was. He wanted to protect him. And even White Hollow Ichigo wants to protect him. And it's the exact same thing for the Yhwach persona. He wants to protect Ichigo as well. So but even he acknowledges that Ichigo has gotten strong. He has grown. He has achieved feats that he never would have known. The inner version of him ends up telling him that he even noticed his type of growth, and that even though he never wanted him to become a Soul Reaper, he realized exactly how hard Ichigo tried to work and dedicate himself to becoming stronger, to protecting the people that he loved and everything like that. And even though he didn't want to help him, he automatically leaned forward to lifting him up and helping him gain more power. And in the end, even though he's basically kind of in a way saying goodbye, he still is satisfied that Ichigo chose to be the best portion of himself. And of course, we end up getting that amazing soundtrack. That amazing soundtrack breaks as we see the fire of Ichigo's Zanpakuto, and Ichigo grabs out to grab the sword, and everything just evaporates. The entire sea just evaporates as the Forge Master tells Ichigo to pull it, to grab the Zanpakuto, and he grabs his brand new Zanpakuto. It's amazing. It's amazing. Like the way they went ahead and formed this scene, even grabbing all the different old semblance and everything like that, showing exactly all the different ways that that the inner version of Zangetsu, or Ichigo's Quincy power Zangetsu, was basically protecting him through all the different semblance of guiding him, showing him the ropes and everything like that. Even when Yhwach tried to stab him in the neck, and he automatically activated Ichigo's blue vein or whatever like that to protect him. And Ichigo acknowledges that they're both Zangetsu. So naturally, his brand new Zanpakuto must be both. He has to have both as his brand new Zanpakuto. That's the only thing that makes sense. So he has White Ichigo, well, White Zanpakuto, so he has White Zangetsu and Black Zangetsu in both hands, and they both make his brand new Zanpakuto at once. Now, my biggest question throughout all this one right here is basically replacing Ichigo's main sword. So for those who don't know, this sword right here is basically Ichigo's Shikai, the sword that actually originally broke, that looked like a big gigantic regular sword like Guts' sword, is actually Ichigo's normal Zanpakuto sword. So my biggest question and confusion is, are these two Zanpakutos Ichigo's Shikai, or are they his base form Zanpakutos? That right there is the big question. Because whenever Ichigo used this sword and swung this sword around or whatever like that, he was basically using Shikai 24/7. The reason why he needed to use Shikai 24/7 is because his base sword literally got snapped directly in half. And that was the only way he could use his abilities, was to go ahead and do it that way. but it's crazy. And of course, at the very end of the series, well, very end of the episode, we get a scene of Yu Habak talking to who else but Uryu. Why would he not be talking to Uryu? Why would he not? Because Uryu still sees Yu Habak as the Quincy King. He's their king. They have no choice but to submit and do for him. That's how it goes. But I hope you guys enjoyed my breakdown. If you did, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe down below for more videos just like this one. Make sure you like me, love me, and talk me down below. And I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Peace.